Hello guys, welcome back to Susham Teachings. Feel easy and go crazy on accountings. In our earlier video, we saw about balance sheet, the heads and subcontents of balance sheet. So in this video, let's see about statement of profit and loss. That is nothing but your P&L. We'll be discussing about the characteristics of profit and loss statement, about its format and the heads and contents of profit and loss. Come on, let's go into it. So what do you mean by statement of P&L account? Statement of P&L is nothing but your income statement, which shows your financial performance. As I've said in my earlier video, it is the second one classified after the balance sheet under financial statements, and it is also known as income statement because it shows your financial performance. Why? Because it is a statement which tells about your profit or loss, and also it considers all your incomes and expenses for a particular period of time. It also determines the profit and loss income. So I hope so that this is not very new to you because you've already studied about this in your class 11 standard. But the way of preparing your statement of P&L is quite different from what you prepared in your class 11 standard. Class 11 standard, it was like a profit and loss account, you say, and there was a debit column, there was a credit column. But here is quite different. Here it is prepared according to Part 2, Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. Come on, let's go and check what the format is. So this is the format of statement of profit and loss account. Statement of profit and loss account is prepared as per Part 2 Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013, whereas balance sheet is prepared as per Part 1 Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. So do remember these laws because it may be very useful to you when you are questioned in your 1 mark questions. I mean in your multiple choice questions. So what is the format? Let's check out. So you have a particulars column and you have a note number. You have current year's value to be recorded first, and second column previous year values to be recorded. Why do you have two columns? Because it will be easy for your comparison. So the first one is revenue from operations, second one is other income. When you add 1 and 2, you get total income. And next you have expenses. Under expenses you have varied category of expenses listed like cost of materials consumed, purchase of stock in trade, change in inventories, finished goods, work in progress and stock in trade, employee expense, finance cost, depreciation expense, amortization expense, other expense, and the sum total of expenses to be given here. Then you have to calculate your profit before tax, which is nothing but income minus expense. Then you have to subtract your tax. Then you get your what is your profit or loss for the period, and in case of a loss it has to be recorded within a bracket. So you can also put certain note column. For example, under revenue other income, if you put note number 1, then in your notes to accounts under 1 you have to just detailedly show the split up of what all comes under other income, and the sum total has to be shown here. I hope so that you are somewhat understanding what I'm saying. Format is very important as far as accounts is concerned, because if format is not followed, your marks will be reduced. So do look and check properly for the format. Heads and subcontents of statement of P&L. So we have checked about the characteristics and also introduction. We have also checked the format. So now let's come to the content and heads of statement of P&L account. So contents and heads of statement of P&L. So let's check into it. So the first one under revenue. The first we'll see about revenue, then we'll see about expense, then we have to subtract revenue and expense, then you will get your profit, then subtract tax, you get your profit or loss for the year. Okay, first one, revenue from operations. So under revenue column, the first one is revenue from operation. What do you mean by revenue from operation? It is nothing but the amount of revenue earned by the company from operating activity. I'll say it clearly. Suppose if a company is engaged in selling electronic items, so how much ever amount the company is earning by selling it, that will be categorized under revenue from operation. That is because the operating activity of a company here is selling electronic items. So revenue from operation is nothing but how much amount or how much revenue is earned by the company from its regular operating activity. So revenue from operation is also known as net sales. So I'll tell you. So revenue from operation has different name in case of different company. So here are three categories. One. So in case of a manufacturing or trading company, it's known as net sales. Net sales is nothing but sales minus sales written. In case of a service company, it is the fee earned. In case of a finance company, it is interest, dividend or dividend earned. So let me explain you clearly. So first one is revenue. So revenue from operation is nothing but amount earned from its regular operating activity. Revenue from operation is also known as net sales in case of manufacturing or trading company. Net sales is equals to sales minus sales written. Fee earned in case of a service company. Interest or dividend earned from finance company. The next one, which comes after revenue from operation, is other incomes. So what do you mean by other income? Other income is nothing but the revenue earned from non-operating activity. As I've seen earlier, revenue earned from operating comes under revenue from operation. Revenue earned from non-operating activity comes under other incomes. So other income, what all comprises under other income? I mean the contents under other income, which is nothing but gain or loss on sale of fixed asset, bad debts recovered, interest on fixed deposits, etc. in case of manufacturing, trading or service company, and any amount earned from non-finance activity comes under finance company. So other incomes is nothing but the amount earned from non-operating activity. So what all comes under other income, these will be shown in your notes to accounts. And in so gain on loss of sale of fixed asset, bad debts recovered, interest on fixed deposits, etc. in case of manufacturing, trading or service, any amount earned from non-finance company in case of finance company. So I'll say you again that please be thorough with these. Why? Because you may be questioned about this in your multiple choice question. Next one, when you add first and second, I mean your revenue from operation and other income, you get total revenue, which comes in under your third one. So total revenue is nothing but sum total of revenue from operation and other income. And the fourth content that is displaced is expenses. Under expenses, you have these categories listed. First one is cost of materials consumed, purchase of stock in trade, change in inventories, finished goods, work in progress, stock in trade, employee expense, finance cost, depreciation expense, amortization expense, other expense. And the sum total of these expenses will be categorized here. The first one is cost of materials consumed. What do you mean by cost of materials consumed? Cost of materials consumed is nothing but your cost of goods sold. Your cost of goods sold. It is the amount of raw material or other material used in manufacturing. So, cost of materials consumed is nothing but your cost of goods sold, which means that the amount that is used in purchasing raw materials or other materials for manufacturing. So cost of materials consumed is equals to opening inventory plus net purchase minus closing inventories. And the second expense, one that is listed under expenses, purchase of stock in trade. So what do you mean by purchase of stock in trade? The amount of goods which is purchased for resale. So if any So cost of materials consumed is nothing but the amount of materials which is used in further manufacturing, whereas purchase of stock and trade is nothing but the amount of goods purchased for reselling. So if any other further process is carried out on the purchased good, then it is called or becomes a part of cost of materials consumed and not of stock under trade. So this is very important because what it says is like if in a good any further process of manufacturing is carried out, it is classified under cost of material consumed and not under stock in trade. So again I'll tell you, cost of materials consumed is associated with amounts of goods which is purchased for manufacturing or carrying out further process, whereas purchase of stock in trade involves the amount of goods which is purchased for reselling. And the third expense which is listed under is change in inventory. So what do you mean by change in inventories? Change in inventory is nothing but the difference between opening and closing inventories of finished goods, work in progress and stock in trade. So change in inventories is nothing but the difference between closing and opening inventory. And the fourth expense listed is employee expenses. So what do you mean by employee expense? Employee expense is nothing but whatever payments which is made in favor of employees, which now includes wages, salaries, bonus, staff welfare expenses. So these are all have to be shown in your notes to account, not in your statement of profit and loss. So as the name says, employee expense is associated with employees, and again I'm saying it has to be displayed only in your notes to accounts. And the fifth expense which is listed is finance cost. So what do you mean by finance cost? Finance cost is nothing but all those costs which is incurred on borrowings or loans taken. So what are that involves? It involves interest on borrowings, interest on loans, and OD. So as the name says, finance is nothing but related to some finance activity. So here it is related to whatever cost that the company incurs on borrowings or loans that it has taken. So some of the examples are interest on borrowings, loans, and overdraft, which all have to be displayed clearly in your notes to accounts, not in the actual statement of P&L account. And the sixth one is expense. What do you mean by depreciation expense? Depreciation expense is nothing but fall in value of your tangible assets due to usage, time, and obsolescence. That is nothing but your writing off all the tangible fixed assets. So you have already studied about depreciation as a separate chapter in your class 11 standard. All those expenditures will be recorded in statement of P&L. And next is your amortization expense. What do you mean by amortization expense? As we have said, as there is tangible fixed assets, similarly you have intangible fixed assets like goodwill, patents, etc. So its value will also be falling gradually as in case of this. So the fall in value of intangible fixed assets which is written off over the useful time is recorded as amortization expense. So for example, goodwill amortized, patents amortized, trademark amortized, there are various kinds. And the eighth expense is other expense. So what do you mean by expense? Other expense are expense which aren't classified in the above categories. So it is of two divisions. The first one is direct expense and the second is indirect expense. So what do you mean by direct expense? Are expense which are related to production. Indirect expenses are those expenses which are related to business keeping and running. Moreover, direct expenses you have studied in your class 12, 11th standard that it will be shown in your trading account. Indirect expense will be shown in your P&L account. So some of the examples of direct expenses are wages, factory rent, cost of material consumed, carriage inwards, fuel. Some of the expenses of examples are salaries, telephone bills, stationery and printing, legal and accounting charge, carriage inwards. So direct expense is directly related to production, whereas indirect expenses is like how further activities like business keeping and running of business is taken care of. Then the sum total of all these expenses is totaled, and then you have to calculate your profit before tax, which comes as your fifth item. So profit before taxes is nothing but your total revenue minus total expenses, 3 minus 4. Then you have to less tax. Tax will be less only when there is a profit. It will be only when there is a profit. No, if it's a loss, then no tax. You have to subtract tax. Then your seventh item is profit or loss for the period, which is nothing but 5 minus 6. So this is how your statement of P&L is prepared according to Part 2 Schedule 3 of your Companies Act 2013. Here notes number is given. Again I'm saying you have to prepare your notes to accounts, and then current and previous year for comparison. Hope so you have understood this. Please remember the format. It's very important as in case of balance sheet as well as in case of statement of P&L. I do again hope so that you all have understood statement of P&L account. Just go through the format and also the heads and contents of balance sheet and P&L account. It will be very useful for the future chapters. By this, our first chapter, financial statements of a company, is over. Thank you for watching. Do like, share and support. Also comment if you have any doubts. You are most welcome to do so. Successfully we have finished our first chapter. Hope so that you have understood. If not, also do wait, because when we connect with other volumes and other chapters, you will be automatically knowing each and everything. See you until the next video. From next video, we will start a second chapter. Thank you.